What if everything the modern wellness industry is selling you, the supplements, the powders, the overpriced juice cleanses, was already sitting in a book written thousands of years ago? The foods described in biblical scripture are not just religious symbols, they are nutritional weapons. And researchers keep arriving at the same conclusion. Ancient people knew exactly what they were doing. Today, we're walking through 10 foods from biblical text and showing you, with real science, why each one is a healing powerhouse the modern world has forgotten. Stay through the entire list, because number 4 was so powerful, the ancient Egyptians cataloged it in over 20 medical preparations, and number 9 was given as a luxury gift to an Egyptian ruler. Not gold, not grain, this specific food. Let's get into it. Number 10. Dates, the original energy bar. Dates kept armies alive in the most brutal climates on Earth. Soldiers, traders, pilgrims, they all carried dates, calorie-dense, shelf-stable for months, packed with natural sugars that fuel the body without the refined sugar crash. Beyond fast fuel, dates contain magnesium, potassium, copper, manganese, and B vitamins, all in one piece of food. The fiber slows sugar absorption, making the glycemic response far gentler than refined sweeteners. Clinical trials found women who ate dates regularly in late pregnancy had significantly shorter labor times and better cervical dilation outcomes at admission. Ancient midwives prescribed this. Modern obstetrics is catching up. Even the pits were ground into powder and used in traditional Arabic medicine for gut infections. This is a survival food with a clinical record going back thousands of years. Number 9. Pistachios, the nut worthy of a king. When Jacob sent his sons to Egypt during a devastating famine to negotiate for grain, he told them to bring gifts. Pistachios made the list. Genesis 43:11. A man fighting for his family's survival chose pistachios as something worth offering a ruler. They weren't a snack, they were currency-grade nutrition. Modern science confirms it. Pistachios are unique in their concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin, the primary protective compounds for the eye's macula. Regular consumption is directly linked to reduced risk of age-related macular degeneration, a leading cause of blindness worldwide. They contain more potassium per serving than most nuts, support blood pressure, and offer an unusually complete amino acid profile for a plant food. Clinical studies show pistachios significantly increase beneficial bifidobacteria in the colon, more effectively than most other tested nuts. Jacob understood value, so should we. Number 8. Barley, the common grain that outperforms everything. Barley was the grain of soldiers, sailors, and laborers. When Jesus fed 5,000 in the Gospel of John, the loaves were barley, the bread of everyday people. And it turns out those everyday people were eating one of the most cardioprotective grains ever studied. Barley contains the highest concentration of beta-glucan fiber found in any grain on Earth. The FDA has formally approved a health claim for it. The research is that strong. Beta-glucan forms a thick gel in the digestive tract that slows glucose absorption, binds LDL cholesterol and removes it before reabsorption, feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and stimulates immune cell activity. Clinical comparisons show barley outperforming oats, already a gold standard heart-healthy grain, in post-meal blood sugar response. For a grain that costs almost nothing and has been cultivated 10,000 years, the nutritional return is extraordinary. Number 7. Pomegranate, the antioxidant of Solomon's temple. The pillars of Solomon's temple were decorated with 200 carved pomegranates. In a culture where every design element carried meaning, this fruit symbolized abundance and life. The science explains why. Pomegranates contain punalagonin, a compound found in almost no other food on Earth. The gut breaks it down into urolithins, which have shown anti-inflammatory effects, mitochondrial protective properties, and, in lab studies, the ability to selectively target certain cancer cell lines. Clinical trials using pomegranate juice showed measurable reductions in blood pressure, lower LDL oxidation, improved arterial flexibility, and reduced C-reactive protein, a primary marker of systemic inflammation. The polyphenol concentration outranks red wine, green tea, and blueberries. The rind, which most people throw away, is even more concentrated than the edible interior. Traditional healers brewed it as tea for gut infections. Use the whole fruit. Number 6. Garlic, the food the Israelites wept over. When the Israelites were wandering in the wilderness, surviving on manna, they wept. And what did they say they missed? Numbers 11:5. The fish, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Grown adults, freshly delivered from slavery, mourning garlic in the desert. Once you understand what garlic does to the body, their grief makes complete sense. Crushing or chopping garlic produces allicin through an enzymatic reaction. Allicin is one of the broadest spectrum natural antimicrobials ever identified, active against bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites simultaneously. Resistance is difficult for microorganisms to develop against it because it disrupts multiple microbial pathways at once. Clinical trials show garlic reduces the frequency and duration of respiratory infections, lowers blood pressure and LDL cholesterol to clinically meaningful degrees, reduces dangerous blood clotting, and protects liver detoxification enzymes. Critical detail: heat destroys allicin. Raw, freshly crushed garlic is dramatically more potent than cooked. Egyptian medical papyri listed garlic in over 20 separate medical recipes. The Israelites weren't being dramatic. They knew exactly what they'd lost. Number 5. Figs, the prescription that saved a king. In 2 Kings, when King Hezekiah is dying from a severe infected wound, the prophet Isaiah doesn't only pray. He issues a medical instruction: press a compress of figs directly onto the wound. Hezekiah recovers. For centuries, this was treated as metaphor. Then researchers analyzed figs and found Isaiah's prescription had precise biochemical rationale. Figs contain phycin, a proteolytic enzyme that breaks down dead and damaged tissue, cleaning wounds from the inside out. They also contain psoralen and benzaldehyde with documented antimicrobial properties. Fresh fig latex has been shown to inhibit bacterial growth and accelerate early skin healing. Internally, figs are one of the most mineral-dense fruits available, rich in soluble pectin fiber that feeds gut bacteria, high in magnesium, potassium, calcium, and B vitamins. In a world without multivitamins, figs were something close to a daily supplement. Isaiah didn't guess, he prescribed, and it worked. Number 4. Onions, the prebiotic king. Egyptian laborers who built the pyramids were partially paid in onions and garlic, not as a bonus, as wages. When a civilization building the largest structures in human history pays workers in a food, that food is foundational nutrition. Onions are among the richest sources of quercetin, a polyphenol studied in hundreds of clinical trials. It measurably reduces blood pressure, inhibits inflammatory signaling pathways, and reduces allergic response by stabilizing mast cells. But onion's real superpower is prebiotic fiber. The inulin-type fructans in onions pass through the small intestine undigested and selectively feed bifidobacterium and lactobacillus in the colon, the foundational strains of a healthy gut ecosystem. The ancient Israelite diet was built around garlic, onions, and leeks daily. Every one is allium family. Every one is loaded with these prebiotic compounds. Without ever having a word for the microbiome, this culture was systematically building and maintaining one. Number 3. Raw honey, heaven's antimicrobial. Eat honey, for it is good. Proverbs. The Bible doesn't casually repeat food references this many times. Raw honey is one of the most comprehensively studied natural antimicrobials in scientific literature. It kills antibiotic-resistant bacteria, including MRSA strains that defeat pharmaceutical antibiotics, through 3 simultaneous mechanisms: generating hydrogen peroxide on contact, creating an acidic, low-moisture environment where pathogens can't survive, and deploying a protein called defensin-1 that dismantles bacterial cell structures. Manuka honey is now used in certified medical wound dressings in hospitals worldwide. Standard clinical protocol, not complementary medicine. The most important word, raw. Heating honey above 40 degrees Celsius degrades the enzymes driving its antimicrobial activity. Most grocery store honey has been heated and processed into an expensive syrup. The real thing was harvested directly from hives, unfiltered, unheated, alive. Archaeologists found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs. Still edible. No other food on Earth has that stability. The people who stored it that way knew exactly what they had. Number 2, almonds. Sacred architecture built around a nut. When God instructed Moses on the design of the menorah, the cups were shaped like almond blossoms. When Aaron's rod miraculously budded overnight, it produced almonds. The almond was chosen across multiple moments of theological weight because it is the first tree to flower each spring, blooming while everything else is still dormant. That symbolic choice was made by people who ate almonds daily and watched what they did to the body. A single serving provides 37% of the daily vitamin E requirement in its most bioavailable form, alpha-tocopherol, the fat-soluble antioxidant protecting cell membranes from oxidative damage linked to aging, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Almonds are also high in magnesium, participating in over 300 enzymatic reactions, deficient in a large portion of the modern population. Magnesium deficiency connects to anxiety, poor sleep, high blood pressure, and impaired glucose regulation. Clinical trials show regular almond consumption lowers LDL cholesterol, reduces post-meal blood sugar spikes, and improves gut microbiome diversity. The ancient world built this nut into sacred iconography because it was that important. Number 1, olive oil, the ancient world's most complete medicine. Olive oil is referenced over 140 times in biblical scripture. Kings were anointed with it. Wounds were dressed with it. The Good Samaritan in Luke 10 pours oil and wine into a stranger's wounds, not as symbolism, as genuine medicine applied by someone who understood what they were doing. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most rigorously studied foods in nutritional science. The Mediterranean diet, built around it, has been examined in hundreds of clinical trials, consistently linked to dramatically reduced rates of cardiovascular disease, cancer, systemic inflammation, cognitive decline, type 2 diabetes, and all-cause mortality. The primary compound responsible is oleocanthal, a polyphenol that operates through essentially the same biochemical pathway as ibuprofen in reducing inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation drives most modern disease. A daily food that reduces it without side effects is not a small thing. Critical shopping distinction. Most grocery store olive oil is harvested late, when antioxidants are lower, blended with cheaper, refined oils, and processed with heat that destroys the polyphenols. You want cold-pressed, early-harvest, extra virgin olive oil from a verifiable source. The ancient version was a living antioxidant-rich substance. The best modern versions still are, but you have to find them. 20 centuries of observation, 10 foods, the same conclusion from every angle. Modern science didn't discover these benefits, it confirmed them. Every clinical trial kept arriving at the same place that careful, observant human beings arrived at thousands of years ago without any laboratory equipment. Pick 2 foods from this list. Source the highest quality version you can find. Incorporate them as food, not supplements, for 30 days. Then pay attention the way the ancient world paid attention. Drop a comment telling me which food surprised you most. Subscribe, hit the bell, the next video goes even deeper. See you there.